The tragic thing is that even 24 hours after Delhi was horrified by the gang rape of a 23-year-old girl, the city wasn't any safer. A Headlines Today correspondent stepped out late in the night yesterday, but not very late. She wasn't being very adventurous. She just wanted to do a reality check of exactly how safe Delhi is, and even she wasn't spared a similar treatment. She was eve-teased in the evening right here in Delhi in a high security area. We'll be going across to her in just a while, but I also go across to my colleagues Aditi Anantnarayan in Delhi. From Bangalore, we have Pratibha Raman, and Arjun Chatterjee will be joining us from Kolkata. Well, if the Delhi gang rape wasn't enough evidence to wake the city's government up and also its police, here's more proof of how unsafe the national capital is for women now. Our TV Today correspondent Anjana Kashyap was reporting from South Delhi at a little past 11 last night when she was harassed by a few men, invited by them to sit in their car and go for a ride, with the police claiming they are helpless beyond a point. The message to women in Delhi seems to be loud and clear. Each person for themselves. You have to protect either yourselves when you're out or remain indoors beyond sunset.
We are close to the Ames flyover. It's about 11:30 p.m. and the whole capital is up and shocked at the...
क्या परेशानी है?
कहाँ चल रहा है?
कैमरा
Let's once again play out the shocking sequence frame by frame. In the first frame, you can see our reporter Anjana Kashyap addressing the camera. It's 11:30 at night near the Ames flyover.
It's about 11:30 p.m.
As she is speaking, look into the background. A silver-colored car is approaching slowly. You can see its blinkers. Then it pulls up right behind Anjana.
And the whole capital is up and shocked.
A youth in the back seat, clearly smirking, makes a comment. Our reporter turns around and is propositioned. Our camera team steps up and intervenes, but these men are not deterred. Brazenly, they continue to pass lewd comments. When we point out they are on camera, they ask our crew to take their picture.
Camera.
It is all shockingly brazen. The only way to ensure these men aren't back out on the streets is to punish them. And so we are asking you to help us identify and find these brutes. Now here is the entire story in real time, played out for you once again.
We are close to the Ames flyover. It's about 11:30 p.m. and the whole capital is up and shocked at the...
क्या परेशानी है?
कहाँ चल रहा है?
कैमरा
Well, this unfortunately is the state of Delhi. Little has changed even in the last 24 hours, supposedly when the police should have been warned that such people are on the loose. Let me go across now to my colleagues who are positioned in different cities. Aditi Anantnarayan in Delhi, Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai, and also from Kolkata and Bangalore we have Arjun Chatterjee and Pratibha Raman. I want to ask you first, Aditi. The police claims that it's not possible to man each and every public transport. It's not possible for policemen to be present at every checkpost. But exactly what have they done in the last 24 hours to make the city maybe a little bit safer for its women?
Padmaja, when I went out last night to actually check what is the ground reality, I found out that there were police bunkers, there were policemen out there in the city, but strangely the main incident that happened on a moving bus, there were no checkposts which were actually keeping a tab on the vehicles moving across the city. And I also have people here with me, Padmaja, who are asking one single question: what is the government waiting for? And if the police is helpless, then who do they go to? I have one parent with me, a parent of a girl child, and for her itself, she feels the city is very unsafe. So ma'am, what do you think? Is the city safe enough, and do you think the police is doing enough to actually save your daughters?
No, actually, being a mother of a girl child, I feel that till my child comes back home, I'm always worried. It has been a shocking incident day before yesterday, and I think it's a wake-up call for the government to take action and some stern steps so that the law and order situation is much better in Delhi, and the girls feel safe moving out, whether it is in the daytime or in the evening.
So Padmaja, clearly the only thing that the citizens of Delhi are asking for is basic security for the women, and one question that they want to know: will the police help? Will the government help? Or else where do they go? Padmaja.
Absolutely. When the police says it's helpless, who do the women have to turn to? Pratibha, you've been speaking to a number of people. Now, this is a case that was reported from Delhi. So there's outrage concentrated on this one city. But it's not like Bangalore is any different, is it?
Definitely not, Padmaja, because Bangalore has also reported several cases of rape. In fact, it's not just girls, even children are pretty unsafe, because just about a couple of days back where a child was raped, she was bitten, and it was a case of a horrifying incident that was reported from Bangalore. And in fact, many of these girls who I have with me, Padmaja, seem to think that these are girls who have been handling the student union of this college, and they've just had fests all around this year, and they've been asked to stay back in college to take care of several of these assignments, and they feel really unsafe to get back, even to take an auto rickshaw or a bus now to get back to their respective homes. Even after 6, the city seems to be really unsafe. So I have with me one girl who's going to address this issue. I'm sure it is going to be a tough task for you, because you'll need to take care of several issues in the college, and when you have to get back home, I'm sure you're causing a lot of anxiety to your parents, and you are anxious as well.
Yeah, I think the problem that our country is currently facing is something called illegal inertia, where you have laws in place but they're not effective enough. So I think current laws need to be amended, and you need to get more effective laws in order to address the issue completely. Secondly, apart from collective responsibility, this issue is also a girl's individual responsibility, where everyone is individually responsible for his or her own safety. And ultimately, it all comes down to even spreading awareness and spreading education, spreading publicity on this issue, in order to make sure that this issue is completely terminated, because there's a limit to which you can keep accepting this. After some time, you just have to retaliate.
Well, that is an interesting point, Padmaja. After a point, you really need to retaliate, because gone are the days when you just had to use pepper sprays and stuff, and today you have to really fight back, because more and more women are stepping forward and becoming public beings. So there is a lot of retaliation that they have to face.
Well, it might sound drastic, but the fact remains that when the police has said that there's pretty much little we can do, at least until we get an SOS call, unless someone calls up the police control room, you have to keep yourself safe. Arjun, a lot of cries have been heard from across the country that it's time exemplary punishment was prescribed for people who indulge in things like eve-teasing and rape. What is the view in Kolkata? What should this punishment be?
Padmaja, I think the people here in Kolkata are tired of any kind of knee-jerk reaction. In fact, we were wondering in our office, how many rape incidents have I reported in the last 1.5 years? In fact, today morning, there's yet another rape incident that happened in Kolkata, where this 17-year-old student complained that her uncle was repeatedly raping her for the last 2.5 months. We have seen politicians reacting, but it's lasted for only 24 hours. I have with me voices from this city. Noted author and rights activist Nilanjanadi is with us. Do you feel safe in Kolkata?
As of now, no. The answer is a very blatant no. I mean, I'm just thinking that after seeing this news coverage in all the channels, I'm wondering, we always talk about this external, external attack and, external policing, external security. What about our internal security? What about our internal policing? Are we doing enough? I don't think so. Because if this is the kind of situation in the national capital, what about the other cities? Today I was hearing about a rape in Kerala. Now it's inside the house. How do you tackle that? So unless you have this system right, it starts from the families itself, we cannot prevent a rape. Definitely not.
There are also voices, young professionals here in Kolkata who are talking about stringent action being taken. Do you think the law is in place to tackle these people accused of this heinous crime?
No, I don't think, because right now I don't feel very secure in Kolkata, and I really think that these rapists should be pelted with stones. Seriously, I mean, more stern action should be taken, and if things like this happen inside home, then how do we think we are actually safe on streets? I mean, seriously, Kolkata wasn't like this.
You were reacting vehemently.
They should be castrated. I mean, what kind of examples are we giving? As in, why aren't they punished? Why aren't they should be made an example of, these rapists. I'm just so angry. I'm really angry. I don't feel safe. I don't know. I am not sure about my security.
You work till late hours in your office. Do you feel safe when you go back home?
No, not at all. Or the question you have asked, that should we blame the law or should we blame our society that this kind of incidents are taking place in our society? What kind of question you would ask towards our law? What?
Padmaja, you know, there's a lot of anger here in Kolkata, and people are talking about more strong laws being, stringent action being taken, stricter laws to tackle this kind of heinous crime.
Absolutely. Just stay on with us, because we're also encouraging our viewers to call in and share their thoughts on what has been happening over the last 48 hours and the response that the gang rape of a 23-year-old in Delhi has got from a political class and people across the country. Prashant joins us from Gurgaon. Prashant, what do you think?
Too much about, the safety on the roads or the secluded areas and all. I want to bring, me and wife, both of us live in Gurgaon, and going to these malls and all these areas is also not secure. When we talk about that stronger laws and all, it's fine, but what about the preventive measures? These are such kind of a crimes where, if somebody would say that, okay, it's a 3-year jail versus 7-year jail, somebody will not think about it. But I'll, give you a couple of examples. Recently we went to watch a movie. This happened a couple of times. There were the people sitting right on the backside of our seat, and they were like drunk. Now, again, as usual, they started, pushing us, on the chairs, and everything started. And there, we started kind of put a fight, just shouted on them. So somehow they were quiet. But when it came down to the parking, that's when one of the guys came to me and he started, he started instigating.
Yeah.
The only thing happened was that, my wife and me, both of us kind of remained quiet. We sat in the car and we came out. They tried chasing us, but after they left. But in the time, we would have, at that point in time, we would have, tried arguing with them, things could have lived in a different way. So
I totally know what you mean. Absolutely. Having stayed in the NCR and even thinking of going out and watching a movie, unfortunately, you have to think twice. What do you do when you are faced with a situation like that? Will you be sure that the police will respond fast enough? Prashant, we're glad that you're safe. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your experience. Another caller from Saibabad also wants to say something. Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Prashant, we're glad that you're safe. Thank you so much. Also wants to say something.
I'm sorry, I don't want to reveal your name, but can you please switch off your TV? All right, we'll try and get back to our callers in just a bit. But Pankaj Upadhyay is with us from Mumbai. Pankaj, a very important point was made by a lady in Kolkata where she said, what happens to women who are abused within the confines of their own house? Now, the police can't get there. The police can't ensure what's happening behind four walls. Isn't an effective deterrent then the real answer? What do people in Mumbai think about that?
Padmaja, Mumbai once had this tag of being the safest cities in this country. But as the statistics stand as of now, even as the year draws to a close, are very alarming. More than 1,200 cases of chain snatching, more than 800 cases of molestation and eve teasing. And what's surprising, in the various Maharashtra courts, there are more than 24,000 cases of molestation and more than 12,000 cases of eve teasing, which are still pending. I am in Juhu Ville Parle area where I have the students of NM College. They have horrifying stories to tell. First of all, you tell me the story that you were saying. Quick.
One of my friend, we all had gone to Inox Theatre
which is one of the best theatres of Mumbai. And there we saw that a guy behind us was clicking pictures of her because she was wearing shorts. And which is totally unexpected in such a high reputed theatre.
What is your story?
It just happened last night. Me and my friends had gone out for a party. We were just coming back. This is what happened to my friend. She was walking and she was wearing a really short dress. There were guys who were following her, commented on her personality. There were random guys and they followed it.
So these were the things which you never heard of at least in Mumbai before. Late in the night time, you people could go out partying and clubbing. This is being heard of late. There are experiences in the railways as well.
If you're walking on the station, if you're wearing strappy clothes, when you're walking, they yell at you, they call you a chickney, they wink. It's disgusting. Sometimes they try to touch you.
But then the bigger question, who is responsible and what is responsible? Is the lack of policing responsible? First of all, you tell me you go out clubbing, partying. Do you see patrol vehicles in the night time? Are they active at the first place?
Yes. But the police, they've been really disappointing. I mean, Mumbai police, they've not done anything for the rape cases. There are so many cases pending, as you said. Really.
Yesterday itself, Padmaja, there was this 25-year-old woman who was assaulted in broad daylight. So another important question that arises here is a woman in Mumbai feeling safe, or does she feel now is the time that Mumbai perhaps might be becoming the next Delhi?
Mumbai is not what it was before. I mean, the police just roam around in the bikes. They don't do their work properly. I and my friend were walking, I think day before yesterday, and there were guys who were passing comments,
So
and there was
right
no
from
one to stop
passing comments to all sorts of stories in the railways area as well, lack of policing as well. Things are definitely not going the right way for the Mumbaikars, Padmaja. We have to say that.
Absolutely. What a shameful reputation for Delhi, in fact, that people in Mumbai, now that the situation for women isn't good anymore, are saying that it's fast turning into a second Delhi. Just hang on there for a minute, Pankaj. We got a reaction from Kiran Bedi, someone who's been very outspoken about how women can possibly feel safer on the streets of our big cities. This is what her prescription was.
One, the community police revival plan. Secondly, we need to use technology, which most of the countries are using today. The country can afford it. India can afford these kind of cameras. If we can send satellites to the space, why can't we put cameras on the roads, on the roads and these electric poles? This will deter these people. Crime police community relationship plan has been a good practice, was a good practice. It needs to be revived.
Absolutely. That's a very pertinent point which has been raised by Kiran Bedi. We are asking our viewers, if you've had a similar experience, do share it with us. We will not reveal your identity. One such viewer is with us from Bangalore. Go ahead. What happened to you?
Ma'am, in Bangalore, when we are going around any place, we are just like two men come very close to us. They try touching us, and we have to go across them or go between them. They try different ways to just touch you. That is the worst part, and they make the sexual noises which are disgusting to the most, to the core. We can't do anything. The only thing we tell our friends is look straight, don't look back, don't turn around, just look straight, walk forward, don't that is what is happening. The police and all, they come patrolling and all, they just bash, they last time hit a boy and a girl who were just friends and they were talking. And it's a very localized place where we were just sitting and talking about our assignments or whatever. But they don't exactly go to the places that are needed to go. They come in places that are extremely localized, where all college students are sitting on the benches and talking. They don't go to the places that is actually required. Over here, half the time we hear oh, there's another girl who got molested, who got raped and all. But that's just another story. We do not hear an actual action taking place, ma'am. That's the worst part of living in Bangalore. Even though Bangalore was told it's very safe and all, but I don't think it's anymore.
Well, that's really sad from what you say. Unfortunately, it's not the Eve teasers, but people like you who are harassed, who are afraid of the police. Remember, Bangalore is also the city where the police had decided to click pictures of so-called couples in public places, if only they were to be as attentive to Eve teasers. Another viewer is with us from Ghaziabad. What happened to you? What do you have to tell us?
In fact, this is, it has not happened once. Being a girl in Delhi is not easy, I would say. While in college, eve teasing in public buses, public transport was a common thing. And, we used to retaliate and, But you know, the public, they do not support the girls while you know, they are being eve teased at the public transport. Moreover, you know, I recall one instance when I was with my sister. I got down from the rickshaw at one of the marketplaces, and there was this eve teaser who, you know, kind of made a remark and touched my sister at the wrong place. I was so agitated. It was, you know, even when I think of it now, I was so angry then. You know, what I did instantly, I turned around and, you know, caught him from the collar and slapped him there. And but you know, there were no people around. They were just, you know, onlookers, and you know, they could not do much about it. I don't see any help coming from any of passers-by or anybody, and it was a real shocker.
Well, it's not like they couldn't do anything, it's just that they chose not to do anything. That is the tragedy of how people behave even in public transport. I can totally understand what you must have gone through, but it's really brave of you to have retaliated. Thank you so much for speaking out. You definitely needed to be heard. BJP leader Shaina NC also joins us now from Mumbai. Shaina NC, we've seen considerable outrage inside Parliament today, but what is the guarantee that this outrage will not last beyond 2 days? It will die down, people will forget and move on. What exactly is being done?
I think that outrage is just not sufficient, because every time we see that this movement gains momentum and in 2 days then it dies down. Here, having said so, this case is absolutely the worst of its kind. So I hope that this momentum turns into an agitation where we implement better legislation so that the guilty are not just brought to task but also given a death penalty as a punishment, as a deterrent for the future perpetrators of crime such as this. I'd like to only ask one question, that why is it that we see repeated attempts against women in the capital, in Delhi, in Mumbai, which is a metro again where you have a Congress NCP government? Without politicizing this debate, I just want to say that the government needs to show strict action and immediate implementation of the law. We've seen in lots of the cases where the police don't even register the FIRs, and when they do, it's such a shoddy attempt that when this case goes to the court, despite the fact that you want to give the guilty maximum punishment, it just doesn't happen. So I think somewhere down the line one needs to think about why there is no fear of law and why the perpetrators always just get away scot-free.
Absolutely, is exemplary punishment the need of the Shaina NC? Stay with us. We're also joined by Sunita Krishnan, someone who went through the trauma of a gang rape early on in her life and now campaigns against crime against women. Sunita, is hanging or such similar exemplary punishment the only way that we can have a sort of effective deterrence, because nothing seems to stop these people from such crimes?
I am not very comfortable with law being the answer to everything, because there are so many laws. If not implemented correctly, it has no say, it doesn't create a deterrent. My take would be is when would the society wake up and start deciding that this is not acceptable to us? Why are we mute spectators to this kind of violence and this kind of violation? I think the day the society decides that no, this is not done, we are not going to accept this to any child, any woman, any human being for that matter, you know, that is the day these kind of things will end. What stops us from socially boycotting these characters? What stops us from cornering them, marginalizing them? We do that to a victim so easily. We take great pride and great pleasure in victimizing a victim. We corner her, we marginalize her, we exclude her, that her life is completely destroyed for eternity. Even today, we are talking more about that girl who's been raped. We are not talking about the bloody 8 perpetrators who have done this kind of thing. We are not exposing them, we are not showing their faces. I think the day we start taking a position correctly, we need to position ourselves. Whom do we stand for? Are we standing for the one who has been victimized, or are we standing for somebody who has been the abuser? I think it is much more than the law. It has, in my opinion, it's the society that needs to take a stand.
Absolutely.
End of the day, it is the society that has to answer.
Well, absolutely. But we at Headlines today are definitely with the victim. We are talking about the culprit. It's not about the victim. Of course, we wish her well. We want her to recover fast. But the focus squarely is on the perpetrators. We've tracked down their family. We've named and shamed them. I also want to bring in my colleagues Aditi Anant Narayan and Arjun Chatterjee at this point. Aditi, the tragedy of the entire situation is that everyone is talking about punishment. They're saying hang the rapists. But what is being done to ensure that such crimes don't take place to begin with?
Padmaja, actually the answer for that question would be nothing at all. Being a woman in the capital is definitely not easy, and I would definitely want to recall a situation where I boarded a metro and I got down on the Chhatarpur metro station at about 10:30 in the night, a regular time for office goers who come back to their place. I boarded an auto rickshaw at that time and I was pushed in by two random men inside the auto, and the auto driver tried to fled away. It was just a reflex action from my end that I pushed the auto guy, I pushed the man outside and he fell, and I managed to escape. And when I approached the police guys after this, they turned around to tell me that it was my fault that I got down on at the metro station at that hour. So my question, like any other woman in the capital, is why should women be barred from visiting different places in the capital? Why can't the police just make the city safe enough?
Absolutely. And Shana NC, I want to get you in at this point. Even today in Parliament, despite all the outrage, when Mr. Sushil Kumar Shinde was talking about the steps that have been taken in Delhi to make the city safer, he came up with something as absurd as we've found out the routes, we've identified routes which are frequented by women, we'll make sure that they are made safe. So are women now going to be in female-only zones which supposedly are going to be safe?
No, that's a bizarre kind of a suggestion. In fact, I'd like to comment on a couple of things. Even Sheila Dikshit in her statement said that, we should have more CCTVs. Are you trying to say that there will be more culprits and there will be more situations such as this, so we need CCTVs? Or are you going to say that in order for this not to happen, we are going to talk tough and nobody dare do this again? Our police is with the women. We've seen multiple times when one talks about, this mindset of the stereotypical male Indian, that also percolates down into the police force somewhere. Because I heard your reporter earlier say this is a standard where, the questions are raised. Were you dressed inappropriately? Did you do something wrong? Were you trying to induce the man or attract the man? I think these are all really derogatory statements and their objectification of a woman, which I think we really need to, as a society, challenge and fight. Why shouldn't a woman travel at night, or why shouldn't a woman be safe at night? And that's why it comes back to the same point, that a government that is strong and gives a message that is going to stand with its women on safety and security, there will be very fewer perpetrators of the crime. In fact, I think there's another point also, which is that of the bystander, where we all have been discussing that there is there is no legal. I will get back to you on that point in just a minute, Shaina NC, because there is someone from Bangalore who wants to share her story with us. Go ahead. What happened? What do you want to share with us?
8 years back, I had left my small town for higher education and job. And I have been to Delhi, I've been to Mumbai, I've been to Bangalore, all these three places, and trust me, the story is same everywhere. However, one, incident that I wanted to share that happened with me here in Bangalore almost a year back. It was 7:30 p.m. in the evening, and I was returning from a mall, a very well-known mall in Bangalore, and I took an auto rickshaw. And the auto rickshaw took me through a very, quiet place. I told him very clearly, please take it through the busier or the main road. I do not want any shortcuts. He said, okay, madam, I'll do it. And after 5 minutes, he stopped the auto and said, okay, I cannot go anywhere from here. You can walk on your own. I didn't want to, just talk to him or shout at him. I simply got down and started walking towards the busier road. And immediately what I found is that he held me really tightly, tried to grab my boobs, and, within a of seconds, I didn't know what to do. But then, while I was studying in Delhi University, all of his girls had received some kind of self-defense techniques and self-defense training. I immediately kicked him really hard on his temple and then punched him on his nose. and screamed very loudly. And the auto wala was taken so aback, he immediately started off the auto and went off. And it was so dark, I couldn't even take the auto wala number, but still I went ahead and looked out for police if there is somebody who could help me. But there is nobody around. And that busy road is in the South Bangalore, and is one of the really popular places. So this is something that keeps happening in all of the cities. I've faced a similar situation in Delhi. I've faced a similar situation in Mumbai as well.
Absolutely, and that is the point. It's not limited to any one city. Unfortunately, the other towns which had got the label of being safe are not like that anymore. Sunita, I also want to get you in at this point. Hasn't this episode only highlighted the major lacuna in our law that lets the culprits get away easy and doubly victimize the victim?
I think the society as a whole knows only how to victimize a victim. And this includes the media, this includes her family, this includes the community that a person lives in, this includes the state, the system, everything. The whole system is created in such a way that you victimize a victim.
Well, horrific. But Arjun, I also want to get a word in from you. Not too long ago, there was the Park Street rape case, and we'd heard the infamous comment from the Chief Minister at that time, and she said all of it is just a conspiracy against her government. When the Chief Minister thinks that way, what hope do women in your city have of getting justice of any sort?
Exactly, Padmaja, that was my point. In fact, I was going to tell you I belong to a city where the head of the state had shown utmost apathy to a case of rape that happened in the heart of Kolkata, the Park Street incident, and that subsequently led to the transfer of a lady cop, a top cop. I'll go back to my guests. Nilanjana, as we were talking, you said when it comes to important issues like the FDI, the parliament is in place, they take resolutions sooner, but it's high time that they should start reacting on issues like this as well.
Absolutely, because I think the parliament wastes too much time on frivolous issues, whether FDI should be in place or not in place. Rape is an incident which has been happening for quite a long time now, and I think unless we don't take important measures and implement it, the most important thing is we take measures, we have the judiciary in action, and unless the implementation takes place and the execution takes place, nothing will work. It would all be on paper, and nothing would work. So basically, I just feel that it's high time. It's really high time. It's not just about today. For all you know, as we talk, there is something going on some other place as well. I mean, a rape. So how do we tackle this? It's an important issue and needs to be addressed absolutely till the as per like a national security thing. I mean, I'm just bereft of words and I'm so angry I cannot express
very
my
strong
anger.
words coming from Nilanjana. I'll go back to our other guests on the show as well. You were telling us that some bizarre incidents also happened with you.
Yeah, especially, when it's late at night, we have to work and we have to return home. That point of time, there is no security on streets. You would not find a single policeman. You would not find a single cab. You would find nothing. And then, we as women, we feel very helpless that point of time. And then it's obvious that we feel very insecure standing then that, okay, if we get onto this cab, maybe this cab is not right or something like that. And yes, it has happened to me. I have got into a shuttle where he was actually taking me to a wrong route. Thankfully, there were other men who shouted. But then this, all women are not that lucky.
Right, ma'am. Has anything changed in the last 1.5 years since the Park Street rape incident happened?
I'll tell you what has changed. Earlier, my mom used to call me at 8 o'clock. When are you coming? Now my mom starts calling me from 7 o'clock. And what time are you coming? When are you leaving? The moment it gets dark, my mom gets scared. And I don't want that to happen.
Padmaja, I think that actually summarizes what the situation here in Kolkata. I think it's a community syndrome and there's a lot of anger and people actually are waiting here to see proper laws in place, fast-track courts to be in place so that some exemplary punishment be given to these accused.
Well, the punishment will come later. First, the deterrence needs to be there. They should be prevented right at the outset. We want to get voices from across the country. Another viewer from Odisha has called in now. What do you want to say?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Yeah, this is Dr. Sovesh. I've done my PhD on the police from Jawaharlal Nehru University. In fact, I'm presently in Orissa, but an acquaintance of mine, an associate, Mr. Suresh, whose daughter studies in class 11, was returning from her tuition at 9 o'clock yesterday. And she was eavesdropped by 4 guys, and when she protested, one of the guys, if you can, I can take the name because I haven't shared all the information. They barged into her house, threatened her and her mother, saying that usko utha bhi lenge aur tera baap ko bhi utha lenge, because when she protested that she would tell his father about him. Later on, when her father gets back home, and he tried to call up the person's father, the father didn't respond. So the entire community actually obviously went over to his house. There was a lot of scuffle that went on. And the guy who was actually the perpetrator called up the police. The police were defending. They didn't take the application of teasing from the father, who when was going in the morning to the police station sector 12 Artipuram. One of the guys with his father, I mean, who had teased, confronted the victim's father.
Well, absolutely no fear of the law. Absolutely no fear. Despite first intimidating the girl, now trying to intimidate her family. Shana NC, I want to get a final word from you. You've said that a strong message needs to be sent across that such things will not be tolerated. Exactly how do you think that can be done?
See, you have states where there is a real administrative crisis, where you have no coordination between the state, the government, the police, and all the various agencies. That, I think, is a huge issue in cases such as this, because one knows that one needs proactive action immediately.
Shana NC, I'm sorry, let's not make this into a political thing, because it also happens in Bangalore. We just got a girl from Bangalore saying it happened to her in that city. You've got a BJP government over there. So let's not make this into a one party versus the other party thing.
Women are safe, women are secure. Yes, you may cite Bangalore. You may cite Bangalore, and where there is the obvious case of something going wrong, I'd be the happiest to admit it. But why I'm trying to give you an example is, why can't we implement examples like that all across the country? Even in the states where we rule, where there is something going wrong, we take cognizance of it. I am trying to say that unless you have the fear of law, you're going to have perpetrators of crime who are not at all bothered, who are brazen, and who continue to do this because they know they can get away scot-free. The other point is, when we keep on talking about fast-track courts, let's not make a mockery of the actual usage of fast-track courts, because one has seen in the Keenan and Rubin case in Mumbai, for 1 year, date after date after date, where I cannot understand why the guilty who are in jail in police custody cannot turn up in court on time, cannot be produced on time, and why has the case not even started?
Absolutely.
If we have the Home Minister saying that a fast-track court on a daily basis would be used as a rarest of rare in an exceptional case like this, I would welcome that, and I would say that that needs to be the model for all these previous cases which are just...
Absolutely, and it needs to be made a model across the country. Shana NC, we're completely out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.